Hlophe was impeached by the National Assembly in February this year, but he is challenging the resolution. He was sworn in as an Umkhonto weSizwe Party MP following the May 2024 elections. Hlophe's party did not only make him the parliamentary leader, he was granted the status of leader of the official opposition by the National Assembly's Rules Committee in July, and he is a designated member of the JSC representing his party. Dr. Hlophe is now temporarily barred from sitting in the JSC during interviews in search of judges next week. This is pending the review application in a matter that was brought to court by the DA and other parties. This has prompted ActionSA to call for the review of the Constitution.
But on Monday, I wrote to the Constitutional Review Committee for them to begin to look at this, because this must not just be a media frenzy. It must actually go through the processes of Parliament. And so we've written to that effect, and we're looking forward to their response. But we're not going to let it go. It must go and go through the processes to its logical conclusion, and we will put it on the floor of Parliament for debate.
Ngobeni says the Constitution should be clearer on the eligibility of persons becoming public representatives.
We are saying he should have never been able to get through the gates of Parliament if, in fact, he's going to be barred from participating in organs of Parliament where each and every political party has the right to elect or to deploy any of their members to serve on each of these committees. And so we believe that fine, the judgment is what it is. We are not interested in the merits of the judgment. We agree that the judgment has happened, but we are saying that that particular process needs to go a step further, because then it means that we're dealing with individuals. It is unfair, it is improper, and is an indictment of Parliament. You can't say that Parliament must exercise its judgment or its discretion. Discretion, parliamentarians are human beings. Our discretion is going to suit whatever that we feel at the particular time, whether it's political expediency for some and not for others. And that's why we're saying the law is the law, and the law must be applied. And if the law is not fitting of the circumstances through which we find ourselves currently, then the law must be improved to meet the conditions under which we find ourselves in the day.
KSEC says there is a gap and inconsistency in the Constitution that needs to be rectified to bar impeached public office bearers from serving in public office.
Section 89, which provides for the removal of the president through an impeachment process. The Constitution is very clear that an impeached president loses the benefits of office and may no longer hold any public office. There is no similar provision with regards to an impeached judge or an impeached head of a Chapter 9 institution. And CASAC will, in due course, propose to the Constitutional Review Committee that they look at those anomalies in the Constitution and fix those. And once this Constitutional Review Committee is established and up and running and calls for submissions, CASAC will in fact be making such a submission to ensure the integrity of offices to which people who have been impeached may seek access to.
COSATU, which welcomed the Western Cape High Court judgment, says the gap in both the parliamentary rules and the Constitution needs to be fixed.
So there's a gap in the parliamentary rules, and then there's a gap in the Constitution, which has been silent on this issue. So now there's a judicial precedent saying you must address this, and it happens all the time, where the courts, including the Constitutional Court, say to Parliament, you need to fix this or fix that in the law. We'll give you 18 months to 24 months as it needs be. But we're glad this has been done so, because we want to have people who lead by example, not lead by delinquency. But I think also there's a problem for Parliament too. Parliament's rules have been far too lenient on members of Parliament who have been found to misbehave, often involved in corruption, other misdemeanors or serious criminal offences, and Parliament's Rules Committee, Ethics Committee has given them a slap on the wrist, if anything. That needs to be dealt with. But to be fair to Parliament too, the political parties must stop sending delinquents to Parliament. They must send persons whose integrity is beyond reproach and not persons whose society can't take seriously.
For some in society, the composition of the JSC should exclude politicians.
No member of Parliament must be allowed to sit on the Judicial Service Commission, not only Dr. John Hlophe. We must keep politics out of the Judicial Service Commission. Politics have no place in the judiciary. The judiciary must at all times be independent. It is very urgent that Parliament must review this law that allows members of Parliament to sit on the Commission. In the recent past, we have seen raw politics playing it out in the Commission, where some members of Parliament attacked some of the candidates very rudely. We are recommending that members of the community must replace members of Parliament on this commission. It is very urgent to address this matter.
While the debate on the review of the law and the Constitution continues, the JSC is expected to continue with the interviews of candidates next week for the appointment of judges to fill vacancies in various divisions of the courts. Mercedes Besant, SABC News, Parliament.